up on this week's show, we find out if the Changan CS 75 can stake a claim for itself in the C SUV segment. The cabin is well insulated, but you do at times hear the hum from the engine just coming through the cabin. It's not the loudest, it's not irritating, it's just there. Pagani gives us an exclusive preview of the jaw-dropping Utopia roadster.
Every single screw in the car is titanium. With even the small details, every screw will have, Pagani printed in it.
And Juliet drives Toyota's new Prado in flagship VXL trim.
This does, however, have 3 extra driving modes. This adds Sport S Plus, Comfort and Custom. So you can play around with those to find which suits you. I'm always in Comfort.
Thank you for tuning into Ignition GT, where every week we bring you the latest and greatest from the automotive world. Joining me in studio today to share their insights with us are 2 guests who need no introduction. Francois and Sean, welcome.
Thank you.
Sean, we're actually going to start with you because you are our visitor here.
Thank you.
Tell me, what have you been driving? What's happening? What's new in your driving automotive world, should we say?
I've recently driven the Photon Tunland V9. It's
big, bucky.
It's the biggest.
Massive.
It's the biggest double cab that you can buy new in South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, at the time of recording, at least, until something else gets launched.
Yeah, of course.
But just a gigantic Dodge Ram / F-150 copy from Photon.
Yeah.
Really good. 799,000 Rand for a fully specified double cab, sort of mid-tier D-Max, Hilux, Ranger money, but you get something that is completely full house.
Yeah.
Cummins-derived engine, ZF 8-speed gearbox, Borg-Warner 4-wheel drive system. So really nice specs on paper and very well specified. I've been pretty impressed. I just think the engine feels slightly underpowered for 2.4 tons.
What is it, a 2-litre diesel?
It's a 2-litre. Turbo diesel, but with a 48-volt mild hybrid, so it makes makes it extremely smooth. But I think when you're towing and carrying things, and it's also coil sprung rear suspension, so
that's going to be very.
So I mean, lifestyle Bucky, very very good. Competes with the LDV Terra 9 and the GWM P500 2.4 diesel. So there's like that new micro niche of luxury Chinese double cabs at the sort of 800,000 Rand mark. But I've been pretty impressed.
Let's move on to what you've been driving recently.
Yeah, also some Bucky options. There seem to be quite a lot of Buckies going around at the moment. And the 2 that I drove most recently actually couldn't be more different. So the one was the Changan Hunter, the range extender, which is quite an interesting offering, although there's quite a few range extenders now. The BYD, obviously the Shark being the most famous one. It's the hybrid system and everything like functions pretty well. It like kicks in, like the engine kicks in smoothly, decent range, everything. There was just one super weird thing about it, was the air conditioning system, which you put it on full blast and you can hear the fans, going somewhere inside the dash, but it's like this trickle of air like coming out of it. And it makes no difference whether the fan is on 1 or 8. Okay, it's like the intensity of the noise changes. But then when you put it in reverse, then suddenly like the aircon comes on like full blast. So it's like there's a weird setting in it which kind of almost like works the wrong way. Like I think it should like actually turn down a little bit when you put it in reverse, so that it's not distracting. But then the other interesting one that we had recently was the Amarok, which is now available with a 2.3 turbocharged petrol engine, which I asked the guys from VW, is this the engine from the EcoBoost Mustang? Because like the configuration sounds about the same, right? But anyway, like very interesting because, this, I think it churns out 222 kilowatts and about 450 Newton meters. It goes really, really well. And it's quite interesting because I don't know if VW did this in a response to, all these sort of more high performance Buckies that's been launched recently. I mean, in terms, like everything else, it drives like an Amarok drives, really good ride and handling for a bakkie. Very nice interior. It's got that big
screen,
portrait screen, which is great. And then it does feel relatively like a VW. Still, it has the VW like buttons on the steering wheel. The fonts of the digital instruments look like a VW.
Oh, not like the Ford.
Not like a Ford, which I think is reassuring for VW owners. But very, very interesting offering. And the other thing that is quite impressive about it is, even though it's a petrol, the fuel consumption on that was much better than the V6 diesel.
Oh, okay.
So a better performer and more efficient, I think.
Let's move on over. Now we turn our attention from bakkies to SUVs. Toward the end of last year, Changan re-entered the local vehicle market with a bang, offering a range of products including 2 bakkies, an entry-level sedan, a premium EV, and of course a C-segment SUV. Yes, I know what you probably are thinking right now. Yet another Chinese brand. But to be fair, Changan has been around in South Africa about 20 years ago, operating as Chana. Remember that brand? Yes, they quickly wrapped it up in 2013, and now they are back with an onslaught of new models. This one right here that we have is what they hope to be their best-selling car, which is the CS75 Pro. Does it stand out in its segment, or is it just another car from the cookie cutter? Let's find out. Styling of the car, well, you do have a very big, busy designed chrome grille, furrowed, detailed LED lights. Over on the side, you have your 19-inch multi-spoke blacked out wheels. And I think this is where you actually see the profile of the car and just how big this car is. And part of that length is owed to that it is a 7-seater car. The rear features a single taillight piece. Inside the boot, you have about 230 liters worth of boot space. That's if the rear seats are up. Of course, with the seats down, you have about 620 liters worth of boot space, which I do think is adequate enough for all your luggage. Now, let's get inside and let me show you what it looks like inside. Now, the interior of the car is where it comes alive and where I come alive, because I'm quite excited to see the cabin looking so beautiful. It's got this nice toffee color leatherette finishes. You also do have your digital screen in front of you, which I do think is quite slow. It's laggy, it does have some glitches, but you do have a lot in the system as third-party apps such as YouTube, the weather, and you also have a mirroring service. The downside, however, it's not CarPlay and Android Auto friendly. So I have tried multiple times to connect my phone, which I'm not able to. They do have Car Auto, however. Moving away from that, you have your aircon controls, temperature controls. You also have your 2 cup holders under here. No place to put your phone, however, unless this might be their thinking. USB ports in here. You've got 2 USB ports, no C-type. Simply hold your phone in there and close. I would have loved a charging pad or just simply a space to put my phone. Gear lever, really nice to hold and fits well in your hand. And you also have passenger and driver heated and cooling seats, which I do think that was quite a nice addition for them to add onto this car. The second row of seats, very spacious, enough legroom, enough headroom. And talk about headroom, you also get a panoramic sunroof in this car. I will not say that you get a lot of space in the third row of seats. Of course, we do know those mainly for small kids and not for full-grown adults. But it is really a nice addition to have the option of a 7-seater, especially for big families. The great thing about this car that I've noticed so far is that there are no frustrating and annoying alerts from the safety systems. I'm glad I haven't heard any of that. So under the hood here we have a 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol engine that will give you 138 kilowatts and 300 newton meters of torque, and all power is sent to the front wheels through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. I do think this car drives really well. It's got such a nice drive quality. It's very smooth. It's really no nonsense. Changan claims 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers. I have been able to achieve 7.5 liters per 100 kilometer. Also compared to some of its competitors, is really quite a standout. Now, talking about some of the safety features, you have the adaptive cruise control. You also have a 360 camera, 6 airbags, and the basics like ABS with EBD. The cabin is well insulated, but you do at times hear the hum from the engine just coming through the cabin. It's not the loudest, it's not irritating, it's just there. Pricing for the 1.5 automatic CS base model will start at 429,900 Rand, followed by the range-topping CE model at 474,900 Rand. And finally, this one that we are in is the range-topping CE model, which will come in at 499,900 Rand. The whole range coming in at under 500,000 Rand is pretty darn impressive. So is this just another car from the car cookie cutter? Well, I definitely think it could have looked a little bit more edgy and appealing. However, where it does shine and excel has to be in the aggressive pricing. It's got a great drivetrain, the interior is immaculate, as well as the overall cabin and build finish. Yes, it might be just another Chinese car, but it also is another option you might want to add on your shopping list. Back to Ignition GT. Handsomely styled, generously equipped and competitively priced, the CA75 has the on-paper credentials to be a sales success. But will Changan's SUV carve a niche for itself in one of the toughest vehicle segments? I have to take a deep breath for this one because, yeah, you guys just saw my, you just seen my review. But let's go to you, Sean. What are your impressions of it as a product before we actually kind of break it down?
I found it to be quite generic, if I'm honest. A little bit dated from an interior perspective. Yes. In your introduction there, you said on paper it looks like a very good proposition because it's kind of similar price to the Juliet X70. So on paper, if you're buying on paper, it looks good. You get the option of 5 or 7 seats, starting price 430 to 500,000 Rand. 1.5 turbo petrol, DCT gearbox, everything sounds good, but in execution, I just found it pretty generic and underwhelming, to be honest.
Then we go to you, Francois. What do you think are some of those points where you can say, okay, they could have done better on these, points and just making it more competitive in its field?
Yeah, I think, to continue on like what Sean was saying, I think dated, is kind of like the key word there, because yes, it's got a 1.5 turbo engine, DCT gearbox, like a lot of its rivals also has, right? It's got the touchscreen infotainment system, but all of those aspects of the car feel like it's almost like a generation behind. It's one of those cars that there's nothing wrong with it per se, But I think especially in this segment, you know, there are so many really good cars in this segment. And I'm not just talking about the Chinese cars, right? You also have things like the Kia Sportage,
Yes.
Hyundai Tucson, which you can get for similar money, right? And then I think it becomes like quite a difficult sell. I think to answer your question in the intro, is it going to be able to carve a niche for itself? I think it might, if they can like stick to their guns and maybe, you know, at some point start bringing in the updated version, and if they can get enough people into showrooms and drive it, you know, I think they can potentially, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
Yeah, I think the problem that Changan has is that Jutour sort of got you first.
Yes.
And when you look at the two cars, the X70 and the CS75, next to each other, they just look so similar.
Yeah.
I think people would go, well, Jutour, especially with the trajectory that brand is on with the T2 and the T1 at the moment, I think a lot of people from a showroom appeal perspective would probably look at Jutour, and if they do a bit of research and look at the pricing, you can get a Haval H6 for R500,000 now. You can get, for a little bit more money, you can get a Cherry Tiggo 8 Pro, which matches the 7 seats. So I think it finds itself in a very competitive segment, and to stand out, especially with legacy brands and the new Chinese brands coming in, you have to be exceptional.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of the range, they've brought in the sub-brand Deepol, which does the electric cars. That's a really good product. They've got their Bucky's, the Hunter series.
Yeah.
Those are really good products. I think perhaps with a car like this, they should have maybe waited for a more up-to-date model. I know they're trying to go for the budget section of the 7-seat Chinese crossover segment, but for me, it just didn't really fit within that new model range.
I agree with that, but here is the question then. Will the CS75 achieve the sales volume Changan is aiming for? Well, only time will tell, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. On the other end of the spectrum, though, you find a handful of manufacturers to whom volume is not a top priority. To those brands, exclusivity and desirability denote success, and in those upper echelons of the motoring world, few can eclipse Pagani.
In this cookie-cutter world of motoring, art and motoring don't always go together in 2026. But when it comes to a manufacturer like Pagani, well, art has to be seen to be believed. Mansoor, it's not often that we get to spend time with what is a work of art. So let's start with the design of the car and some of those design flares that you see in everything from the vent to the seat adjustment. Why is Pagani so obsessed with those details?
From the day we start, it's art and science that works together. And this is how Horatio started all this, where even you can see that art have to work. This is the philosophy that the company is working in since day one.
I can see the lines match up on the panels. It's symmetrical to the nose of the car.
And it's in and out. So wherever, even hidden parts, like normally as a customer, maybe you'll not open the engine, you'll not open. It's in and out. Even the technology for the carbon fiber. We have the carbon titanium, which is only by Pagani, and imagine you have a carbon and you have even titanium weaves that goes inside, which is technology that we study it, we do it, we concentrate. And then we put the best of the best wherever automotive manufacturers like made in the world. We have the best engine in the world, the V12 from Mercedes. We had the best materials. Every single screw in the car is titanium. With even the small details, every screw will have, Pagani printed in it. So we are into details.
So at the end of the day, we're grateful for having the vehicle here. For one, you must understand that we call this almost like a Mona Lisa of note. And everybody...
So interesting. Yeah, everybody's referring to it as a piece of art.
Yes. So as being in the car industry, which this is much more, with the value that it has, being it in South Africa, for us in Cape Town, being able to make sure that the car is stable, it's secured.
So your cars are, as you say, bespoke, which means that no two cars.
There's no two cars.
What does that mean?
Each customer will come with his own configuration. Even our cars, we make our own configuration. Customers, we have relationship directly with the customers. They come to the factory, they look into the RTA, and they live with us this journey, which might take 2-3 years sometimes, for them to get the car and to go through every single detail. Because most of our customers are, I will say, 99% of our customers, they want to make something special for them.
Nothing quite prepares you for what you feel, smell, almost taste inside this car. Everything is rifle and precise. And that's why this is literally the combination of science, beauty, and art.
Toyota quietly added a new model to its Prado lineup at the end of last year, and it is now what is the flagship. It took the spot from the VXR, and this is now the VXL. So the other models are geared towards being more off-road focused, whereas the VXL is now more premium in focus. I think they sold like 3,000 last year, so I think it goes without saying that South Africans like this car. Now you'll notice from the outside the difference between this and the rest of the model lineup is the color-coded bumpers, so up the front and at the wheel arches. These also now ride on black gloss alloys. Then you step inside and you can feel and see a couple of sort of more premium touches. One being there's leather on the door panels here, which obviously give it a little bit of a premium feel. It also has an upgraded JBL sound system here with a couple of speakers here on all over the place. There are also a couple of metallic accents here and there. The gear lever has leather and chrome on it. You've got this 12.3-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The screen features navigation as well, by the way, which is quite cool because if you lose signal or anything like that on your phone and you're overlanding, then it's great to have nav built into the system here. This has got ventilated and heated seats, front and rear, mind you. And speaking of the rear, this is a 7-seater, remember? And this has got electric rear seats, like the very back seats that you then press the button in the boot. And it's really practical and really handy. But I do love how easy it is to sort of go between all the different versions of what you can do in the back there. You've also got a chilled cool box. It has got safety spec aplenty. There are 9 airbags. Some of the safety spec can be a little bit intrusive because, if there's a car guard trying to help you and the car will brake, and it's quite a violent, aggressive braking, which is not great. Even though it's meant to keep you safe. So it's got the same powertrain as all the other models, which is the GD 2.8 turbo diesel, 4-cylinder, gets 150 kilowatts of power and 500 Newton meters of torque, mated to an 8-speed auto. This does, however, have 3 extra driving modes. This adds Sport S Plus, Comfort, and Custom. So you can play around with those to find which suits you. I'm always in Comfort or Eco. I don't know why you'd put it in sport mode. It's also got paddle shifts here for manual selection. Again, I don't find the point of that at all. I would think only maybe even if you're off-roading. But even then, no. I don't even know why. Nope, not necessary for me, but nice to have if you want it. It does have a single diff at the rear, although the others have that central diff, so you're just missing a diff. So it might not be as off-road focused, but it's not to say it is not very capable. And now, fuel consumption is claimed at like 7.9 litres per 100 Ks. I think that's a bit wishful thinking. You're going to average, I'd say, around 10, which isn't unusual for a car of this size, certainly, and an off-roader, you know. It gains adaptive variable suspension, which together complements that multi-terrain select all-wheel drive system. And this ABS system means the suspension can soften or stiffen depending on the mode and the road conditions. Just kind of means overall better ride quality and comfort all round. And the handling is better too. But you've got to love that 80 litre and 30 litre fuel tank combo, where that means you get an average of like 1,100 kilometers, which again, great for a road trip, great for overlanding, the whole bang shoot. So price-wise, you're looking at 1.513 million, okay? So 13,000 Rand more than the other. But I was looking at other rivals, and say you want to look at something like the Tank 500, but like, I just think that there's something very iconic about the Land Cruiser Prado, and people know it. It's kind of got like such street cred that I would like hate to go for one of the rivals or even mention them, because if you got one of these, it's like that if you know kind of thing. You could even get an Everest, cool, 7-seater, you could get one cheaper and stuff. But there's just no ways. If I could stretch my budget to this and have this, I would take it over an Everest any day. And not that the Everest isn't great, but this is the Prado. That's all you need to say.
And just like that, we've come to the end of another show. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Actually, now I'm only seeing at the end of the show, black and jeans.
Yeah, we coordinated beforehand.
Damn, I wasn't part of this. Anyway, thank you guys. Next week, we'll be back with more SUVs, of course, when I put the Jetour T2 through its paces. Citroen enters the coupe SUV market with the Passat. And Juliet drives Chery's new range topper, the Tiggo 9.